Have you ever struggled to get the colors in Race Studio 3 how you want? Let's flip on in and I'll show you how to fix it. When we hop into analysis, we have a lot of areas that we get to change the colors. We can choose our segment colors, we can pick the background colors, we can pick the color on the map, we can pick the colors here. So how do we do that? There's two ways. We can go to the settings here and then choose colors and accessories, or if you have your buttons turned on like I do, you can choose the two empty boxes. Here, we're given even more options. And this is where you can really fine tune Race Studio 3 to work how you want. The first one we get is the color mode, light or dark. That changes the overall background and how you like to have it. For me, I personally prefer light. For the next part, you get to pick your plot color scheme. And in that, you can choose to do it per channel, per run, per lap, or per channel if one lap, or per lap if there's a lot of them, or you can do it per run. And we'll come back and look at per run in a minute. When we move down to the bottom, we get to choose it across all these tabs. And this is where you can really customize Race Studio 3 to have all the colors and the options the way you want them. The first one is in plots, and it gives us the background for the segment areas, our main grid, our foreground, and as we scroll down, we get more, the cursor, the beacon, and all these. A neat feature that was added to Race Studio 3 was the ability to tailor these backgrounds how you want. And those match up with the segments. So you can see segment 1 has a very dark background all the way to maybe the lightest being segment 3. And we can see it in segment 3 and go from there. And our colors. We get to choose the background for each of these areas inside our segments and under the top bar. We can have them from lightest to darkest, or we can click, choose anything we want out of the standard palette or custom rainbow colors. It's all to make it how you like the most. As we scroll down on this list, we can see we can change our grids and our ticks and all that, and I'll show you in a minute where those apply. Next, we can move to the track lines, and this is where we get to pick the colors for our top bar of the segments. You have your 6 segment types, your map text, and for the monochrome map, that's if you're showing it on the plain white background and you want to change it. Inside our report functions, so that's going to be your channel reports, your segment reports, things like that. You get to pick your alarm, background, the minimum and the maximum colors, and as we scroll down, the colors for your best rolling lap and your best lap. Really a way to fine tune all these color settings inside of Race Studio 3. I'm going to skip runs again. As we hop into laps, if we have multiple laps turned on, we can pick the color there as well. And then when we go in channels, and what you're going to find is your list is going to look very different than mine. Things that Race Studio 3 does is it populates this list based upon the channels that you have in your data and that you've used. So if you've never used my data, you won't have the same things. Now, many things will be the same. And as we scroll down here and we get to GPS items like the gyro, the heading, the lateral acceleration, the latitude, you're going to have those from your logger or your device. But the other channel names are going to be uniquely tailored to you. You can color all those any way you want. Now, let's look at colors per run. In colors per run, we can say, okay, but we only have one run. We only have one day. So if we go back and we open another session, which is a whole nother run, a whole nother time that we were out and we ran the car, we go back to that setting. Now we'll see we have the options to fine tune those colors per run. So in here, we have red and green. We can say, okay. And as I pick more laps, the laps for that run will always be that color. So this is a nice way to be able to compare your performance across a single day, where you want to see what happened in the morning and you can see what happened in the afternoon and how those might vary to give you something about your car performance, maybe about as the track evolves and things start to change. And you can use this to really compare those very quickly. If we look at the split report, we can see where all these colors come in. We can look at our channel reports and see our mins and our max and how it highlights those things. The same thing in our split report, and our track map follows the colors of our sessions and our runs as we set them earlier. The last spot that we can set colors is inside the channels for things like our colored run. So here I have the Google Earth map. I have my GPS speed built in. And then what we can do is go to our channels. I can pull up my GPS speed. And if I go into the channel settings for that one, here you'll see that I get to pick the coloring scale. So I can change these values to a custom scale. So maybe I want to set my minimum speed to something like 35 and leave my max at 130. And when I apply that, we can see it'll change the graph a little bit. We could also change this number to say something like 150. And when we apply that, we're going to see that the red goes away because that 150, that red scale, never gets touched. So that's a way you can really fine tune the use of those colors on that map. I hope this helps you out. I hope it makes you understand the coloring options in Race Studio 3 a little bit more. If you like this kind of stuff, give me the like, give me the subscribe, follow along, I'll help you with more.